Yes. Welcome to, it's already April.
It's April.
It's
indeed.
April. It's not April, but we're recording this a little bit before April, because we're going to talk about our April subscription coffees. Yes. And today, my friend is Alexander Flamier Muskau.
That's right.
Who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah.
Alexander, yes.
Yes.
I'm the designer who's been working with you for quite a few years now.
Yes. So I met Alex actually in my previous job at Stocklets.
That's right.
And you helped us design a logo for Stocklets many years ago.
Yes.
And when I decided to open my own company, I really liked working with you, so I called Alex and asked, can you make me a logo?
Yes.
And we spent some time working on that logo.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And it turned out quite nice.
It turned out quite nice.
If I can say so.
This is actually the guy who designed our logo. But I remember it was not my favorite logo in the beginning. But after kind of working a little bit around it, we steered into this logo that we have now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have any complaints about our design, this is the guy. Send him an email now.
Yes, please do.
But today you're working as a freelance designer?
Yes, I work on my own and done so for quite a few years now, or 2-3 years.
Yeah.
After having spent almost a decade in agency corporate design life.
Yeah. And now you're on your own.
Yes, I am.
Which is good for us because now you actually have time to help us when we need help.
I've always had time for you.
Yeah. Whereas before it was a little, busy.
Yeah, sometimes it was busy, yes.
Yeah. But we're not here to chit-chat all day.
No.
We are going to taste 3 coffees today. And you're actually a subscriber as well.
I am.
So you will be receiving this for our April subscription.
Yes.
Yeah. How do you like it so far with the subscription?
The subscription is great. It works really nice, and getting some different coffees every time.
Yeah.
And works perfectly nice.
Do you feel like you can get some of the same flavors we're talking about in these videos, or?
Yes, of course.
It's okay to say no.
No. Well, it's becoming a regular thing, so I don't necessarily, how do you say it, not compare, but I read the letters and watch the films, and then I taste the coffee and don't necessarily make the connections between them all the time.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just want to drink coffee without the fuss.
Yeah.
But we do have a lot of followers who are very into, tasting.
Yes.
And
yes.
we have started a new thing, and that was based on a comment we got on YouTube. A person asking if we could, with the 3 coffees, at least tell how to grind the ones in relation to each other.
Okay.
As I said in the last video, it's very difficult to communicate how to grind coffee, because if you're going to brew half a liter or 0.3 liter or a liter, you will have to grind different grind settings. So the more you brew on a V60, for instance, or a filter brew, the coarser you have to grind. And that's just because the contact time with the water is longer when you brew more.
Yeah.
So, and also different grinders and how old the burrs are will really be different from grinder to grinder, even if it's the same model.
Okay.
So that's why it's so difficult, at least so far, to say, oh, you're going to grind with this setting. Because a number is irrelevant for most people.
Yeah.
But if you are able to nail the first coffee, then I can tell you how you should grind the second and the third coffee.
Okay.
So for these 3 coffees we're going to present, you're going to start with the coarsest on the first one. Go maybe 1 to 2 steps finer on the second one, and then 1 to 2 steps finer again on the third one. So that means grind coarse, a little bit finer, and the finest on the third one.
And I also go from the outside?
I'll present the coffees from 1 to 3. So the first bag is, we can just actually start tasting the coffees. Do you want the number 1 here?
Yes, please.
Yes. Designers,
We need to know.
So the first coffee, this is a time of the year where a lot of the coffees we have were harvested last year. But for me, it's very important to not send out coffees that taste old. And we try to sell all our coffees before they taste old. So these coffees still taste very fresh, but they're kind of out of season. For instance, the first one is from Kenya. And I was just in Kenya in February to buy coffees. But they will not arrive until maybe June, July. And then we're going to sell those for, 9, 10, 11 months.
Okay.
So that's how the coffee world works.
Yeah.
So even though this is not the current harvest, this was harvested in December 2018. Sounds a long time ago.
Yeah.
But these were bought in February 2019 and then arrived July 2019. So the first coffee is actually from Kenya, from Embu. It's a new area that I have visited twice now. And it's from a group of farmers called Varenyou.
Okay.
And these farmers were a little tired of the cooperative model, so they decided to create a company together where they're training each other, helping each other progress. And the reason why I love visiting this group is because I learned some techniques from them that I implemented on my farm in Colombia that has given me great results. So to be very specific, instead of planting our trees in very small holes, we are now digging huge holes and making compost in the hole and then planting the tree. And they are progressing really fast. You've tasted the Kenyan coffees before?
Yes, I have.
This is no exception. This is very similar to all the other Kenyan coffees we have.
Yeah.
Extremely fruity and high acidity and so on. You want to taste?
Yes.
Any comments?
Well, except from it being very good. No, I'll let you start.
Okay. It's normally easier to taste a coffee when you have something to compare with. But before we do that, I'll just say, for me, this tastes like blackcurrant. But let's taste the next coffee before we go to...
Well, actually, I would say it tastes darker than I would think.
Yeah. That's the kind of blackcurrant. Remember, this is a sample roast also, so it's not perfectly roasted. Okay. But yeah, it has a little bit of this kind of intense, what to say, yeah, blackcurrant. Yep. Let's taste the next one. Yep. Because it's very, very different. It's going to be easy to compare. Second coffee. Okay. Geisha. Have you heard about geisha?
Yes, I have.
Famous variety, very floral. This is no exception. This is from the Caballeros. We sent out geisha from Caballeros in, was it February? Yes? Yes. But this is a honey process. So that means instead of removing the skin from the coffee cherries and then fermenting the beans before it's dried, here it's not fermented and washed, it's just removing the skin and drying it immediately. Okay. So it gives a little bit more fruity flavors, but also a little bit more intensity. So this is going to be very different. Okay. Should I say something or?
Yes, you can.
For me, it's very floral. It tastes like Earl Grey tea. You have this kind of citric, jasmine, kind of, yeah, citric, orange and lemon. Yes. If you go back to the first one,
yes, I did.
You taste this kind of blackcurrant. In Norway, when you go skiing, you drink blackcurrant toddy. Yep. That's the first one. And you might say that it's winey or something like that. It kind of reminds you of Sauvignon Blanc or red wines. Whereas the second one, for me, is more floral, maybe like a muscatel. Okay. The reason why I'm saying wines is because you're French.
Yes, I am. Not making me a wine expert, but very fond of wine.
Yeah, and it's maybe easily relatable. Some coffees are relatable to grapes, I think, when it comes to flavor.
Yes.
Very nice, huh? The third coffee is the same variety as the first one. Okay. SL28, so expect fruity coffee, but this is grown in Finca Tamana in Colombia. Okay. So it's going to be quite different, not as acidic, but it's also going to have this kind of fruity, slightly floral notes as well. Yeah, go ahead and taste.
Yeah, thank you.
You get it?
Yeah, I get it. I get it slowly, yeah. But I get it.
It is quite hard when the coffees are similar to taste, but if you go back and forth from the second one to the third one, it should be quite easy to pick out, I think. Yeah. Maybe the middle one has a little bit of this kind of honey flavor, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. A little sweeter.
And the third compared to the first one. Yes. I think coffee number one compared to the third one. Coffee number one is a little bit kind of more transparent and clean, whereas the last one is a little bit more heavy and doesn't have that kind of high acidity that you can expect from SL28s.
I wouldn't have thought so when I tasted the first one.
No.
That we were going to go...
Exactly. So, those are the three coffees. So the first coffee from Kenya, SL28 variety, mainly, because this group actually specifically plant SL28 because of the system they're doing. It's not 100% organic, but they're working more organic than what's normal in Kenya. In Kenya, they're using a lot of mineral fertilizer and so on. This group claims to only be using goat manure, and they're doing a little bit of copper spray for leaf rust, but they use a lot of organic material on the ground and so on. So much less of the kind of agrochemicals than what's normal in Kenya.
Okay.
I'm trying to find organic coffee in Kenya. It's really, really difficult. Extremely difficult. Second one is from Honduras, the geisha variety, more floral, honey-like, citric, and it's honey processed. And the third one, SL28 variety again, which is a Kenyan variety, but grown in Colombia, Finca Tamana. Which one was your favorite?
I would say the last one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. So maybe you should get 2 bags of that.
Yeah, I should.
But this is actually a variety that we planted together with Elias on the farm.
Yeah.
I think now 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it's our 3rd or 4th harvest, but it's not a big piece of land where he has this variety. So it's mainly for our subscribers because we have very small quantities.
Okay.
So we might get a little bit more, but you know, we'll see.
And which others do we have on the Finca Tamana? This is just on the small part of it? Yeah,
so at Tamana, actually last month we sent out 2 other varieties, or a mix of Caturra and Colombia, which is what he has the most of. And then we had the Bourbon, which is new. And then the SL28 is not new, but it's like 3 years old there in harvest. So we planted it 6-7 years ago. We also planted geisha there, but it doesn't taste very good.
Okay.
So it really needs, geisha needs, you know, shade, a colder climate, whereas Elias doesn't have a lot of shade trees yet. We're planting, but you know, it takes time for a tree to grow. We also have planted a lot of new varieties there, but we're still waiting for them to be produced for the first time.
Okay.
So normally when we start with a handful of seeds, it will take from when you plant the seed until you have the first picking, takes normally 3-4 years, and then it will give you an indication whether it's good or not. And then we wait another year, we pick one more time to see if it's also tasting good that year. And if it is, and the trees are doing well, then we can plant more. And then it takes another 3-4 years before you actually have a good harvest. So we normally count like 8 to 10 years from when you start with a small amount until you have a good production of it. And of course you can do it faster, but that's a gamble. So you can plant, you know, many trees immediately, but you never know whether it's going to give you great quality or not.
And then you're committed to that anyway.
Yes, and it's a lot of work and a lot of money. So to change, you know, it's not a small thing. But on his farm, at least, we're starting now to sort out the best ones and planting more of those and removing some of the ones that doesn't work so well. So in the next 10 years, you have to subscribe for another 10 years. Great. Well, anything else?
No, not that I'm thinking of.
No. Well, I thank you for coming.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure to drink coffee with you.
Yeah, thank you.
And if you are interested in subscribing to our coffees, go to our webpage. You can do a recurring one where you decide how many bags, and you can pause and stop it whenever you like. it's a new
No need for that.
It's no need for pausing. No,
No.
It's a new website now, so it's a little bit easier than it used to be before. You can also give it to a friend, where you can just prepay everything and they just receive the coffee, which is nice.
Yep.
We do see a lot of that for like Valentine's and stuff, which is great. Well, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for coming, and hope you enjoyed the coffees. Bye.
Bye bye.